Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carmen and this is Holistic Healing with Holy Spirit, and I have a really important story to tell you guys today. I believe what I'm going to talk about today is truly an epidemic in our society, and especially among women, but it's not just women, it's men as well. And so I'm going to give you guys my insulin resistance and PCOS story. Yes. And so first of all, I want to talk about what those things are. Insulin resistance, first and foremost, every time we eat sugar or carbs, it causes our blood sugar to go up and spike. And so when that happens, our pancreas releases insulin in order to regulate that and to bring it down and bring it to a place of balance. That's what is supposed to happen. So over time, if we keep, eating, lots of sugar and lots of carbs, well, we're causing our glucose levels in our blood to spike so often, so many times, that our cells become insensitive to the insulin that is being released. And so now it's not working anymore. And so it causes a condition called insulin resistance. And like I said, I believe this is an epidemic. Now, it wasn't until recent years that I even heard about it, but I found out I have been suffering from the symptoms of it for years and years and years, but I did not know. Also, PCOS, that's another thing that I believe is an epidemic, and that is stands for polycystic ovary syndrome. And this is for specifically women in reproductive age. And this is when our hormones are completely out of balance. We have our estrogen, we have our male hormones, we have progesterone, and those hormones need to stay in balance in order for our bodies to function properly. But once they get off balance, then all types of things, all types of horrible symptoms start to occur in our body. So let me just start with my story. And so in 2016, I had a very painful miscarriage. Yes. And I had my two sons, and those pregnancies were healthy, no problems, no issues. But I was having this other pregnancy, years later on. And I did not know I had insulin resistance. I didn't know I had PCOS, but it was the PCOS that actually caused the miscarriage. And it was, oh my God, you guys, it was so difficult for me and my husband because we were excited about the pregnancy, and I miscarried, not realizing what was going on. So that kind of started the whole journey of figuring out what was going on in my body. And so I started having all these symptoms. And so one of the symptoms I started having was frequent visits to the restroom in the middle of the night. And you guys, I literally hated it. Always having to go to the bathroom, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, you're having to pee. And it was just like, this is messing up my sleep. I'm telling you. I mean, it was just like all these frequent, and I never used to have that. I never used to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Another thing, now this thing really, I was like, what is going on? So I started having a numbness in my fingers at night specifically. I didn't have it necessarily in the daytime, but I remember just one night I woke up and it was like I couldn't even feel my pinky finger. Like it felt like somebody had chopped it off. It was completely numb. And so I was like, oh my God, what is going on in my body? And so the Lord led me to do some research, and that's when I discovered insulin resistance and PCOS. That's when I discovered those names, those titles. Still not understanding it. I remember the Lord, he told me one day, the Holy Spirit, he said to me, he said, endocrine. And so I knew that we had an endocrine system. And so I looked up our endocrine system, and I found out that all of these things that I was dealing with dealt with our endocrine system. It's a very multifaceted system in our bodies, and it deals with our hormones. So first and foremost, insulin is a hormone. And so once insulin gets out of balance, what it actually does is throws everything off in your body. It throws your female hormones off, your male hormones off. And so this is where I was, my insulin was off, my female hormones were off, my, male hormones was off, everything was off. And so, started having all of these symptoms, negative symptoms, and I had many of those symptoms for years. And so I remember one night I woke up at about 1:00 in the morning, and I heard the Holy Spirit. He said to me, coconut oil. And I was like, coconut oil? Yeah. So then I said, Lord, what are you saying about coconut oil? And the Holy Spirit said to me, he said, I want you to take 1 teaspoon of coconut oil every single day. Okay, so this was when we were starting to find solutions for this insulin resistance. And so I obeyed. And so literally, you guys, I started taking 1 teaspoon of coconut oil every morning, and literally my stomach just went flat. Yes, it just went flat, because one of the symptoms of insulin resistance is having like this pouch that it just seems like you can't get rid of it. I've had 2 children, and I'm not a big woman. I'm pretty much small all over, but it's just like that stomach just was, it just wouldn't go down. And so I was like, wow, I took 1 teaspoon of coconut oil, and literally in like 2 to 3 days, my stomach was flat. I was like, wow, oh my God. Okay, so that was the first thing. Okay, the second thing was I had to change my diet. Yes, I had to cut out and cut back on carbs. Now, I'll just tell you guys, I was a major cereal head, a major carb lover, okay? Like, I grew up from a child loving cold cereal, hot cereal, all the sugary cereals, the oatmeals and the Malta meals and the grits and all those things. I grew up eating that. And I personally could eat cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's how much I love cereal. Another carb that I love was bread. Another carb that I love was pasta. And all of these are, oh my God, they will have your blood sugar so high, spiking so high. And so another thing that I did, I cut out all the cereal. I literally, you guys, I just cut it out altogether. I cut out regular pasta. Now if I do want pasta, I eat pasta that's made from something else, not made from wheat. And so I do still eat pasta every now and then, but it's not wheat pasta. And another thing, I don't hardly eat any bread at all. So it's very rare that I might eat a little bit of bread. So those were some of the things that I did. I cut out a lot of carbs, and I cut back on carbs. I was a major carb eating person. And so I cut back. And what I did, I increased protein. I increased the level of fiber intake daily. And I also increased the fats, good fats, like nuts and seeds and avocados and olive oil. So I cut out a lot of stuff, but I added more stuff in my diet. And I can tell you guys that the frequent bathroom visits in the middle of the night completely stopped. All that horrible numbness that I started to feel in my fingers, that stopped. My stomach went flat. Okay, you guys? So I'm telling you, this situation, and you know what? I'm still on this journey. I am still on this journey, and I'm still learning as the Holy Spirit is teaching me and leading me in this journey. So I have more to tell you guys. So I want you guys to come back, because I don't want to put it all in one video, but come back to part 2 of my insulin resistance PCOS story. So thank you all so much for joining me. I love you guys. Please subscribe and like and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.